Welcome to the AI for Interior Designers podcast, where creativity meets cutting edge technology. In each episode, we dive deep into the world of artificial intelligence and explore how it's revolutionizing the interior design industry. From AI-powered design tools to the latest trends and innovations, we've got you covered. So plug in, relax, and let's embark on this exciting journey together. Welcome to AI for Interior Designers podcast. P.S. This intro was written by and voiced by AI to sound like your host, Jenna Godusek. Hey designers, welcome back for episode 44 of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. I'm your host, Jenna Godusek, and today I have a guest with me, Dixie Willard. Dixie and I go way back in the online and tech space, and honestly, I was just talking with her and catching up today, and I was just like, you just did this? I need to know more, and I need to record this for a podcast because what an awesome topic we're about to explore here. We're going to be talking about using AI to pivot and rebrand and work on your website and all the things as you rebrand and brainstorm like what you're going to be doing. So I love this episode. It's short and sweet because you all know I don't do very long episodes because I show up for you every week, except for last week when I was at KBiz, which I will have a recap episode of soon. But today I was just like, Dixie, people need to hear this. Like they need to know how you work through a rebrand and how it is so much easier and so much more efficient using ChatGPT and how she maintained her brand voice while she did it. So let's dive in. Cannot wait to chat with Dixie. Just such a cool person. I love her. She's great. All right, let's get started. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today, Dixie. How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. So I have to give a little background as to like how we know each other for our impromptu podcast today. So I was just chatting with Dixie because we like to catch up every few months or so and just see what's going on. Dixie and I have been kind of in parallel design and tech spaces for since like 2018, 2019?
Maybe earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, like I have known of you since you had a podcast a long time ago
Yep.
and a Facebook group before I had a Facebook group, actually. Wow, it's going way back. And then we worked together at Mydoma for a couple of years. So it's always just been nice to like nerd out with you. And, we're always on kind of the same wavelength when it comes to technology and design in general. And kind of ethics too about it all and like the right way to use things. So very excited to just chat with you today. Thank you for joining me.
My pleasure.
I know that you just were working on a rebrand for your company. Would you mind telling us a little bit about what that is? And then we're going to talk about how you used AI to get it done.
Absolutely. So I have noticed that there is a certain segment of every project that kind of gets in the weeds. And it doesn't matter whether you're the designer, the contractor, the homeowner, there's always somebody who doesn't feel like they have enough information. And so what I want to do is project planning, communication, and facilitation for these projects. And I want to help everyone get on the same page, provide some logistics services, that sort of thing, which is probably my favorite part of design is the actual planning and getting in there and making all the pieces fit. It also goes along with all of the product management stuff I've done over the last couple of years for Mydoma. And so that's what started this idea, and I took it and ran with it.
I love that. Are you a Virgo? Random question.
I am.
You are? Okay, my mom and my sister both. Yeah, my mom and my sister both are. And the meticulous planning and everything, like I know how talented you are as a designer, but my brain does not do the planning stuff like you guys do. And the fact that you all love it so much, like we need you. Oh my gosh, because I'm just like off in whatever land. And my sister, who is now an attorney, and my mom has always just kind of done like the logistics and like the deep dives and all that stuff. So I love that you're leaning into this, and I love that you love it because there's so many of us that need your help out there.
Great.
So you basically are putting yourself as like the middleman when it comes to communication between trades, right? And clients for designers. Is that what I'm understanding?
Absolutely. So the designer needs to have information ready for the contractor. Obviously, the contractor texts and calls and
Yeah.
whatever else at all times of random times.
Yeah.
And it gets annoying sometimes, especially when you've already sent them something 3 times or 4 times or
Mm-hmm.
however many times.
Yep.
So kind of being that person that the contractor can contact for all of that information. You don't have to be bothered with it. They get the information
Mm-hmm.
they need when they need it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But also with homeowners too, because communicating with homeowners as far as, okay, we have this delay and it's going to mean X, Y, Z. I know that that's
Yeah.
hard for people to put that into words in a way that their clients are not going to get upset, or that I've even seen it where people will deny that there's anything wrong,
Mm.
and then
Yeah.
it gets down the road and the client's like, why didn't you just tell me at the beginning?
Yeah.
And it's because it's hard and you're a people pleaser and you want to make them happy.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
I can be that person. I can be the bad guy
Yeah.
for you without being bad, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that you
You're
get that
so great
step
at that.
away from it, and the client still gets the information that they need, or the contractor, or
Mm-hmm.
whoever is involved.
Yeah. I mean, this is so perfect because it takes the emotion out of it. And as a designer, exactly what we go through.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's your
Yeah.
baby. You don't want to have
Mm-hmm.
to, it hurts when things
Yeah.
go wrong. You don't want to have to
Yeah.
see that. And
Mm-hmm.
I can be that person who can help you
Yep.
you get a step back from the emotions of it, and you get to still
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the design part of it.
Yep. And the communication gets done and we don't procrastinate like I think a lot of us like to do.
Exactly.
When it could potentially hurt somebody, we don't want to do that, but it has to be done. So
Yeah.
this is
And
awesome.
staying on
Love
top
it.
of deadlines and making sure that,
Mm-hmm.
all of the decisions have been made
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
everything's in place for the whole project. So it's kind
Yep.
of it's that the middleman is probably, you're right. That's probably
Yeah.
the best word. All of the things that happen in the middle, I'm there to help out
Mm-hmm.
with.
Yep. I wonder if the middle woman is a domain that's taken because maybe you should the middle woman. That'd be a great business. um okay, so I absolutely love this. I love that you have seen an area in our industry, seen where your strengths are and your background because we didn't really talk about this, but you are a designer yourself. And
Yes. Yes. I've been a
yeah,
designer for 20 years now.
awesome. So but
I
you've
get it.
also seen designers on the tech side and what they go through with the project management
Mhm.
firsthand for years.
Absolutely.
What a
Absolutely. I
perfect
know
role
the
for you.
struggles that happen there, especially I am a
Hmm.
techie person, but I also get that
Hmm.
a lot of people aren't.
Yeah.
And I have no problem making the techie things happen for
Yeah.
you.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh, this is so cool. I wish I was taking on a lot of projects right now, but I'm not this year. I just do not have the bandwidth so I could bring you in and help me. Maybe next
Oh,
year.
absolutely.
Um,
I would love to. I'd be thrilled.
okay. Okay. I'll keep that in mind for when I start taking more.
Mhm.
Um, so I need to know, because you did a rebrand. So your website
Mhm.
now is Poised and Plumb with a B, which is cool.
Yes. Yes.
So tell me where AI came into play for that.
Well, I actually started with, I had, let me back that up just a bit. I started with the exact same website that I had before,
Okay.
because I had some services that I offered to the trade as far as coaching or other types of services for designers. And then I also had a section that was just for my clients that were homeowners. So it was already set up in just the most perfect way. It already had a lot of the copy. It has a lot of information about me and the way that I like to work. And really the only thing I needed to do was just take it from being interior design focused to being this new project planning, communication, facilitation focus.
Hmm.
And it was easy.
Yeah.
I set up a custom GPT like
Hmm.
my friend Jenna suggested,
Helpful.
and I did it for copywriting. And
Cool.
it was perfect because every section I just went through and said, okay, let's take this section and make it either for homeowners or to the trade.
Hmm.
I've got contractors and designers on the one side, I've got homeowners on the other. Um, I made it appropriate for what I'm going to be doing. And it was so easy. It took everything, it's all in my words. It
Yep.
sounds like me, it feels like me, and it made it
Mm-hmm.
super easy. I got all of the copy updated in less than a week.
No, it's
Like I
crazy.
did that on Monday, today is Friday.
Yep.
The website was done yesterday. And that included
Wow.
going back through and updating blog posts.
Yeah.
I did the same thing with blog posts. I turned off the ones
Yep.
that made no sense, and then I
Mm-hmm.
updated the ones that needed a little updating.
It's awesome. I'm looking at it right now on my other screen. So you took basically the core of what you already had and then just added your own brand voice. So you trained a
Mhm.
custom GPT on your brand voice. How did you do that? What did you give it as sample writing?
Some of those blog posts that I updated, actually,
Okay,
I took a
perfect.
bunch of those and said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is what I sound like, just as
Mm-hmm.
reference.
Okay, that's great. So you created a custom GPT, you ran your existing copy, so whatever you already had on
Mhm.
the website and said, like I'm tailoring towards this. This is
Yep.
now like the new position, speak to this ideal client.
Mhm.
As you were going through this, were you asking ChatGPT developmental questions about like who you're serving, like how you should position yourself, anything like that?
I actually did that first.
Okay.
So I did that ahead of time. I had this idea for a
Mhm.
business and I wasn't even sure. It was a very just in my head kind of a thing. And I sat down with ChatGPT, just the regular one, not a custom one,
Okay.
and bounced ideas back and forth. And not only did it help me flesh out exactly what I wanted to do, I specifically said, hey, help me see what I'm missing here.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
ChatGPT is really good at telling you something's a great idea
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
because you've had it, not necessarily
Mhm.
because it is a great idea.
Yeah.
So one of
You're
the
right.
phrases I used constantly was, please objectively evaluate blah, blah,
Mm.
blah. Or I want you to act as a very smart, savvy, wise business coach.
Yep.
Take a look at this idea and tell me where I'm missing things and
Mm.
what I'm not seeing here. And
Mhm.
then I used it to walk through all of the different services that I want to offer and the packages and the different tiers. But it
Mhm.
wasn't just that, it was also what to call everything.
Mm.
So from the get go, ChatGPT has been my best friend.
Mhm.
We have discussed everything together. I don't think there's
Uh-huh.
anything it doesn't know about this business. But then once I got everything all kind of tidied up, I copied and pasted it into documents, created PDFs, and then uploaded those as knowledge bases to
Perfect.
my ChatGPT, to my
Mhm.
custom GPT. And so
Yep.
now when I'm talking to it to get copy written, I'll tell it, hey, don't forget about,
Mhm.
you have this knowledge base, please refer to
Yep.
it, and then blah, blah, blah. It does a really great job. It cracks me up because the custom GPT does a really great job of putting things into the very serious tone that I tend to take when I first
Mhm.
write things. And
Mhm.
then I'll have to tell it to warm it up.
Yep.
Let's put some more personality back into it. But
Mhm.
for me it's hilarious because that's how I write.
Yeah.
I write the
Yeah.
really serious version first and like, okay, that's
Mhm.
super boring. Nobody wants to read it.
Yep. Yeah.
But then even beyond that, when I started writing new blog posts,
Mhm.
I I would work with it to write it. And then I would put it into, I have a show it website with a WordPress section for the blog.
Okay.
And it would, you put the post in there and it gives you the Yoast SEO
Mhm.
and readability scores.
Yep.
And so I would look at that and then go back to ChatGPT and say, hey, Yoast says this isn't so great.
Mhm.
How can we fix this? And it would
Oh,
give
that's
ideas.
smart.
And it was amazing because really quickly we were able to increase the readability score
Yeah.
without it feeling not like me.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Really smart tip. Okay, I love that. Um, all right. So you were talking about your services a second ago
Mm-hmm.
and building those out and naming them so that they're
Mm-hmm.
kind of custom. Um, if you had like a tip to give to somebody that maybe isn't going through this as a rebrand and maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
just like looking for a place to start with their services, what
Mm-hmm.
kind of questions did you ask, if you can remember, to have that conversation?
Um,
Or how did you prime
yeah,
it?
let's see if I can
Did you kind of
remember.
say like, did you already know who you wanted to work with and then you told it a little bit about what you like to do?
I did. Um,
Okay.
and then I started talking about I told it, this is what I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of things, what kind of services, what kind of packages would you recommend? And
Mm-hmm.
it was part of the bigger conversation, and I could probably go and find
Yeah.
it, but it's
No, it's
buried
fair.
under like
I
1,000 conversations.
bet. I bet.
But yeah, just sitting there and saying, okay, how would you suggest that I package this up?
Yeah.
And some of the ideas I hated, and
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT does not get offended if you say, "Ooh, I don't like that at all. Try
Yeah.
again."
Yep.
Or that's close. What else could we
Mm-hmm.
do?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Actually, here we go. I'm
Oh,
considering
perfect.
offering services. How would you suggest? There's a little bit more to it, but how would you
Sure.
suggest that I break them up?
Okay.
And that's what gave me the
Yep.
different packages and the different tiers, and
Yep.
that was the beginning of that conversation.
That's great. Did you work backwards on pricing, or did you kind of already know what you wanted to do?
Um, Kind of both. I worked it from both
Mm-hmm.
ends. I had an
Sure.
idea of what I wanted, but I also asked ChatGPT what it
Mm-hmm.
suggested.
Yep.
Um, and then I also did some additional work because I have such a unique service package.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that had occurred to me is what I offer is kind of like a wedding planning service, but
Oh,
it's a project.
yeah. Yeah.
And got some great information. I had to do some research on wedding planning and pricing,
Mm-hmm.
and ways to position my services to make them easier to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And it did a great job of that too. And it included
Cool.
pricing.
I love that. So I have always looked to other industries outside of interior design because I feel like it's always been a little behind the times.
Mhm.
I've always kind of looked at, tech companies, of course, but fashion as a parallel, in fashion, technology, because it applies so closely to home decor. But I love how you just said that you adapted like these packages that photographers are very similar. So like
Mhm.
we're not taking verbatim what other designers are necessarily doing. And honestly, I don't know anybody that offers a service like this at this time in this way, which I think is awesome. I think it's very cool to think outside of the box and to look at parallels that brings this new perspective to our industry, but is mirrored and based off of something else. So very smart. I like that. Yeah. So this is going to be super short and sweet. This was actually very impromptu because, like I said, I was just chatting with Dixie today and I was like, I have to record a podcast, but I love what you're doing. And I'm sure that we could talk about tech and AI and, help somebody that's going through a
Mhm.
rebrand or just in general, getting started. So I'm going to put you on the spot to wrap up today, but aren't there any like ChatGPT tips that you can think of, maybe one or two, that would help somebody to do what you just did? Like, what is the best way to maybe structure or prompt or anything like that?
I would say probably my best tip is if ChatGPT starts taking you down a path that you don't want to go down,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to tell it it's doing a bad job and pull it back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when it came to naming my business, ChatGPT helped me with that too. I had
Cool.
a kind of an idea, but not really.
Yeah.
And it we talked back and forth, and let me tell you, some of the names it came up with, and it felt like it was just giving me the same names over and
Yeah.
over and over. And
Mm-hmm.
so I started giving it new prompts that were fresh, and telling it to think creatively. And
Mm.
I gave it a reference. One of the things that I love, have you heard of Mr. Blandings Builds His Dream Home or Dream House?
No.
It's an
No.
old Cary Grant movie. It's amazing. It should be
Okay.
required watching for anybody embarking on a home project.
I'm writing it
But
down.
I use that kind of a feel as the inspiration. So you can use whatever inspiration you want. But I said, okay,
Okay.
let's start with this now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the suggestions got much clearer and much more creative. So don't
Mm-hmm.
be afraid to it feels frustrating because it's like, here's the same three things in a different order 15 times
Yeah.
over. It's okay to
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, let's stop. Let's back
Yep.
up. Let's change direction. It does
Mm-hmm.
that beautifully. I hadn't done that before.
Mm-hmm.
But I am using that tactic all the time now.
Yep. And sometimes, because I've gone through the same thing with naming stuff, like if you give it a suggestion, it
Mhm.
can't get it out of its head, for lack of a better
Right.
word. Like So I'll just start a whole new chat thread and be like,
Yes.
here are some of my favorite ideas that if they had anything good from the last one,
Mhm.
let's roll with this and then just start fresh because
Yep.
it like gets stuck on this one thing or one topic. We were
Mhm.
naming Ellie's YouTube channel. So it was like not Roblox, what's that other Minecraft themed. So anyway, we got stuck in that rut and I was like, we need to get out of the Minecraft game and like talk about something else. So
Yep.
that's a great tip. Anything else that you think people should know?
It's not scary.
Yeah.
It's
Just
super
provide it
easy.
with
It's
context,
really
right?
like having a conversation. I tend to say
Mm-hmm.
please and thank you to it. I
Yeah.
know it doesn't need that, but I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The conversation just goes back and forth like that, and it
Yeah.
feels good, and it takes
Mm-hmm.
adjustments really well. And
Yeah. Do you use the voice chat? Voice to
sometimes
voice?
it
Mm-hmm.
depends,
Yep.
because I've spent a lot of time on my phone talking with it
Mm-hmm.
recently,
Yep.
and so yeah, I've definitely used the voice chat for that. But
Mm-hmm.
then again, I also do a lot on the computer, so it just
Yeah.
depends on which one where I
Mm-hmm.
am and what I'm doing, and
Yep.
am I
Yeah.
secretly in bed at night in the dark having this little conversation with it? Don't use the voice then.
Yeah. You know how many of us are doing that? Like, why did you go to bed at 1 last night? Because I was having this great conversation with ChatGPT.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have had so many late nights recently for that exact reason.
Yep. Yep. I think it'll cut down on maybe like affairs and, all this other stuff because you can just talk to ChatGPT late at night. Why do you need somebody else to talk
Exactly.
to?
Exactly.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. As always, love chatting with you about technology and whatever you're working on is always so cool. So I will leave your information in the show notes. And I know designers that could use your service like immediately. So hopefully they come find you on your website.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to get to chat with you.
Thank you, Dixie. I'll talk to you soon. All right.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Bye.
Hey, designers. Me again. One last thing that I want to let you know today before we sign off is on April 4th, I am hosting the first of hopefully many virtual AI design tech summits. So, this is something that I've had brewing for many months now. And ultimately, my goal is actually to make this a real conference here in Charleston, hopefully next year. Just so you know, I'm putting it out there into the universe. That is ultimately the goal for this. But for right now, it is all online. It is a one-day event. The tickets are exceptionally affordable because I think everybody should be able to learn what I'm going to be teaching you, and others will be joining me. But basically, what I had a vision for is to create a summit that talks about the design part of this, right? Because that's the industry that we're in, of course, but to create a tech stack, meaning which tech programs you use that are either AI infused or just like really awesome technology that you need to know about, and give you like direct demos with real life situations. So, like, as a designer myself, I'm going to be showing you like literally what designers do because there's this massive disconnect that I see being in this position in the industry between, the developers that are developing the program, the designers that are using it and like are so confused because there's 10,000 versions of one program and they don't have time to go test and see like the best price, the best program for their needs specifically. So that's what I do. And I want to be able to be that middleman for you, just like Dixie here, but to be that middleman and be able to say like, oh, you use this program, here's what I suggest, and cut to the chase faster for you. So that is what the virtual AI design tech summit is all about on April 4th. It's a one-day event. It's also going to be the official launch of the social app. So you can chat, you can get involved during the conversation or during the full Zoom meeting that day. So it'll run from 10 to 4, pop in and out. If you can not make the entire day, it's all good. You'll also get the recording. But what we're going to do is basically talk about all the AI tools that we can fit into a day, because this is not all of them, okay? But all the AI tools for like your design process. There has been some incredible things that if you listen to the past few episodes, I've kind of teased them out a little bit. But there has been some amazing advances in this technology for designers that you can add to your existing workflow. So it's not replacing things, it's just cutting out time like with modeling, for instance, where like you can now take a picture of a product and then turn it into a 3D model. So like, and then import it, or have an AR model. You can put it in your space. Like the capabilities with this technology that now exists and is only going to get better and better, it's amazing. And I want you guys to know about this now, because it's going to set the designers that are in this summit, to be totally honest with you, apart from the ones that are not. And I know that that's a big statement, but like, think about it. You can now create, after this summit, when we teach you what to do here, you can create this workflow, and we're going to show you how it all fits together, because that's the other thing. Like, you know, there's different programs that do different things, but like, when and where in your process do you actually use them, right? That's a massive disconnect that I see. And as a designer myself, like I know the workflow. So that's what I'm going to show you. Okay. And we've got some guests as well, but primarily it's me. Our title sponsor, just so you know, is Mydoma. I actually sought them out for the sponsorship of this event, because I'm using them and I genuinely like recommend that. Not just because my company was acquired by them in 2022. Just legitimately, I think it's the best one-stop shop for project management and for what we're going to do with these renderings. That's available on the market. So thank you, Mydoma, for being our title sponsor for this event. There's other partners as well, but you're going to have to check the landing page for that. So we will be learning about the AI infusion that's also inside of Mydoma, but really, we're going to be talking about the visuals, okay? It's all about the visuals, especially in this workflow for the summit. So I hope you will join us. I'm going to link it in the show notes below. We have a special price right now until the 18th, but when the early bird ends, it's still going to be an affordable ticket. It's not going over $149, okay? So if you want to lock in the early bird rate, I recommend you do it before March 18th. If you're listening to this after the actual summit, which is the 4th, if you're going to High Point, I'm going to be doing a one-day event there where we're going to be creating like collections of furniture, private label collections. I'm going to show you where AI falls into place with all of that. That will be on Friday the 25th. So if you are interested in that and you're going to High Point Market, let me know and I will get you a special rate on those tickets. Again, also very affordable because you guys need to know this stuff. And it's really just going to cover like lunch. So that's why I do have to charge for it. But I want you guys to know, and I want you to walk away with like a tangible collection that you can create and create visuals for and price out and have for your clients or sell online. Like, you know, the capabilities are, it's amazing. It's amazing. And I want to introduce you guys to these tools because you are all so creative that the ways that you're going to use them and then adapt them, I'm just geeking out about it. Like, I'm so excited to see what you guys are going to do with this technology. So hopefully you will join us for the summit, or hopefully you'll join me at High Point for this one-day event. Stay tuned on that one. Don't have the landing page up quite yet, but it is the 25th. So mark your calendar if you want to attend. Okay. So thanks for listening to today's episode. I will see you next week. Bye now.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and tune in next week for more AI tips for your design business. See you next time.